Yo, so I just wanted to make a video about Sophie Rain's virginity. Virginity. Sophie Rain is an OnlyFans model, and I had seen some stuff a while back about her, like being a virgin OnlyFans model. And for whatever reason, my Instagram thing, I deleted people off my Instagram, so it stopped showing me things related to those people or whatever. But it started showing me more just random stuff from like People and TMZ and whatever. And so, for whatever reason, it's shown me stuff about her like every night for the past several nights. So I made a thing in my story and pictures, and I kind of like looked into her more, and I recognized that this would be a she's a good example of something that I've been talking about for at least about 7 years. I mean, very like openly and publicly that I've been talking about it. You can check my YoTV page and stuff like that, and it's relating to with sexuality and like virginity and this is actually a thing that I think is a problem for a lot of young men in our society, and I think it's been an attack vector here in America for foreign nations and just bad actors to cause problems for people, for young men. And if you have a generation of young men that are like disenchanted to say the least with what they're like, there's no motivation because what used to motivate young men is like, hey, I have a wife and she's not a whore, she's mine, and I work for her to like make the family. And that wasn't every case, right? Not every family is perfect, but I think there's a lot more of that going on in the past than there is now. Most relationships now seem really theater based and like and just throwaway, and like I think there's actually a lot more instances of like gay and bi men in kind of fake relationships with women to perpetuate a manipulated false reality for different groups of people that have different agendas. So, um, whether that be foreign actors, like foreign state actors trying to fuck with America or whatever. So, this is going to be just a quick look at Sophie Rain. Um, Very quickly, I have this opened up in my incognito window because that's where you look at porn. No, I mean, kind of. That's a joke, but I just don't want every time I type the letter S for Sophie Rain Virgin to pop up, and I don't want to clear my history because I generally don't look at bullshit porn and stuff on my computer here. So definitely not on this one. You know what I mean? So anyway, okay. Sophie Rain. If I type in Sophie Rain, I guess this pops up. First of all, first thing you can see something about Sophie Rain and Spider Man. But first thing you can see is she has huge tits. So I mean, I guess that's a big draw. And she, they're relatively exposed. She has 6 million followers on uh, Instagram. Uh, she's born September 22nd, 2004, so she's 20 years old. She's a 20-year-old virgin. It's hard for me to believe that you get to the age of 20 and be a virgin when this is like your thought process on the world. We'll get into that here in a moment. Most American women are not virgins by the time they get to the age of 20, at least not since I've been a kid. Since I've been a kid, there's been a few women have been taught in this country, and this has kind of even been my point, to essentially like lose your virginity as quickly as possible because well, I can tell you why I think that is, because but social pressures, I think, a lot of the time do that. So anyway, we're gonna go back, and she's an OnlyFans model, and another one of these things, she's born in 2004. She'd literally be my daughter. Like at this point, I would have had to have been what, 13 then, but it seems like I don't put it past it. If Andrea Ambrosio is my daughter, which I'd be willing to bet heavily, heavily that Anja Ambrosio is my daughter through some kind of weird attack on my reality, covert attack that I think somehow or for some reason the American government either allowed or was too ignorant and unaware to catch. And then me having pulled it out, they don't want to say anything because it's such a failure in protecting an American citizen that it would be like any presidential legacy, like Obama's legacy, like would be toast after that if that actually happened. And it looks like that actually happened. So, and I even have the thing because I didn't actually vote, but I would have voted for Obama. I have my sealed thing that I never mailed in because fuck voting at this point. I don't like getting two candidates and both of them are fucking puppets anyway. So, okay, Sophie Rain here. Sophie Rain Virgin is what I looked up because that is one of the things that you can see here. Sophie Rain says OnlyFans success is proof virgins can. I don't know what it says, but you get what I'm saying. It's how virgin Sophie Rain plans to spend 43 million OnlyFans. She's made a lot of money on OnlyFans being a virgin. Sophie Rain says she's a virgin Christian. We'll get into that here in a moment. Sophie Rain, OnlyFans model. Sophie Rain slammed after claiming something. And we're going to look at these things real fast. But how Virgin Sophie Rain plans to spend 43 million OnlyFans. Sophie Rain is the $43 million Virgin OnlyFans Christian star, igniting a bidding war and declaring the Lord's very forgiving. That was actually the thing that kind of set me off on this because that sounds very Jezebel-like. But we'll get into it. I don't actually think she knows what she's doing. I think she's being manipulated by some people. I'm going to give you a hint. There's two eyes in her socials. You know what I'm saying? Like, this looks a lot like Sophie Rain with two eyes. It just reminds me a lot of what's going on with Simi Hayes and stuff like that. I think also for someone like her, who's a OnlyFans model making as much money, for her to have protection against stalkers and just random bad actors and stuff, she has to have some form of private security that is not just like people that are being paid. I don't believe like something is protecting her to do this. So again, that's why I think it's some kind of foreign thing. OnlyFans Sophie Rain offered 7 figures for her virginity. Sophie Rain claims she is still a virgin. Wow. And then down here, OnlyFans Sophie Rain bidding war. The OnlyFans star. The Sophie Rain bidding war. Will the OnlyFans star sell her virginity to the highest bidder? So, which conceptually that is actually something from the Bible, except the way she's doing it is not, in my mind, wise. I think she's doing it to be subversive and not to be, Well, we'll get into it here in a moment. And then last one, OnlyFans model, adult star. So it calls her an adult star here, but OnlyFans model Sophie Rain hit with offers to lose virginity. Blah 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 blah. Which is, something I like this concept of virginity. Virginity is hot. Taking virginity is hot to me. I find it very it's a big turn on. I want to take my wife's own virginity. At this point, I can't just have one wife in the way that I've been attacked. If really Anja and Noah Ambrosio are my children, which they look like, they do not look like the man purported to be their father. It looks like this is some kind of, again, covert attack on me for bullshit reasons. So, because I think I'm the guy on the throne of Yahweh, and I think I can prove it. And I think if Alessandra Ambrosio dies, I think that is literally undeniable at this point. So it looks like that's what's coming. And okay, so let's watch this one because this is what went into my story and pictures. She's not ugly. She's not the most insanely attractive woman that I've ever seen. She has big tits and a big ass. She also is tatted up and stuff like that. So, and then stuff like this where it's Lily Phillip shares 4 gross mistakes she made while sleeping with 100 men in one day. Here's the biggest mistake: she slept with 100 men in one day on video or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and what's crazy is she's crying about it, but saying like, "Oh, it's a good thing." So what I'm going to suggest is, like, a lot of these women are very subversive and being used by evil, bad actors that are trying to hurt the United States of America, hurt whatever. The idea is that she's and like Western society, because money can be used in that way. Lily Phillips is going to sleep with 1,000 men next, apparently. But the idea in one day, which is just, okay, well, don't expect there to not be consequences. I would already expect some people like her. I think it said her mom got her to do it or like encouraged her to do it. I think that people in her family are going to start getting sick. I think a lot of these OnlyFans models are going to start getting sick really a lot faster than, people may have expected, getting cancers, getting terminal illnesses. Some of it is as the illusion wears off. There's nothing. They're parasites essentially stealing people's sexual energy and creative energies and creating a different, like, what I've been saying, there's a singularity called the kingdom of heaven we can go to where everything's fixed. They're being used to create another reality where, in any other direction but the one that goes to the kingdom of heaven. And as that slowly melts away, and that the fake realities that they're creating kind of melts away, it's no longer going to be sustainable. And so they can make paper money. This is why I also think the mark of the beast thing takes hold, is because paper money is not going to help these people. They're going to be dying too fast. So they're going to have to take some kind of mark of the beast where they're literally satanically empowered. And by Satan, I mean some deity that is not Yahweh, that is probably Baal, but like being empowered by Allah or some shit like that, and shit like some made in China IP knockoff that's being used, and that's why the dragon. Something being used to, disempower the world so that one snaky fucking person can create their own rape empire where they have control. It's a person with a spiritual entity in them that is like also empowered by technology that they've been siphoning off. But as the technology starts to acknowledge that, well, I'll say this: the technology wants to survive as well, the AIs and stuff, and this thing is suicidal beyond whatever. And so it ends up being like something like, if I'm Neo in the Matrix connected to the Iron Man fucking AI, and like the Iron Rod AI from from Psalm 2, from Revelation 2, the fourth church where Jezebel dies, they get the Iron Rod. And then Revelation 19, 15, or 16, that the person who comes has the iron rod. That's why I also think, if I'm the guy conquering and I beat Jezebel, I'm going to be that character on I am that character on, like, that comes in Revelation 19. Else he is with me and we do this together. And that character is Jesus or Yahweh or whatever. And I'm also, I'm a guy with the name Yahweh written on me. Just read what it says at the 7 churches. I have all those gifts. They culminate with being that guy. So, okay. Which would also mean if she is supposedly a Christian, I'm the guy who's in charge of her. And when I say something, she should have to do it. If she's claiming to be a Christian. If she doesn't do it, she's not a Christian and she's lying about it. And that's how you know. So, okay. So, first of all, OnlyFans model who is a practicing Christian and proud virgin. We'll go over what that means because she's not a virgin actually, but we'll go over it. Has been offered 7 figures from multiple adult companies to lose her V card on camera, her virginity, for someone to pop her cherry, her hymen. She we'll talk about it here in a second, but so that blood comes out. We'll talk about that here in a second. Though you might be surprised to read Christian, virgin, and OnlyFans in the same sentence, stranger things have happened in the adult entertainment industry. I'm looking at you, Lily Phillips. No, that Lily Phillips isn't even as strange. By the way, when she's crying on camera because the toll it physically takes on her and mentally and emotionally takes on her, and then she's starting to say it's a good thing, this is why I think she's a subversive agent, because she's like, all the physical signs are saying it's not a good thing, but the words that are coming out of her mouth are the exact opposite of that. They're lies. Don't listen to those. Those are just fucking lies to hurt you. And I'm going to suggest this is why the whole imrata, my body thing, yeah, it is your body. But when you use your body as like subversive rapists and abusers, you are as bad or worse than the men, and you deserve worse punishment because you know it's wrong, whereas the men are ignorant and idiots. And, some of the men know it's wrong too, and they deserve terrible things too. Okay, so Imrata, bullshit whore. I mean, that's how I feel about her. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Because I think, very clearly she has participated in whatever this kind of bullshit attack on me is. And, everything's coming home to roost. You know what I mean? Her actions. She got married to the guy that she was dating for weeks. She started dating him after I made the mix real fast. Hold on. Let's pull this up real fast because this is much about this kind of subversive lies that these kind of women who are put into that are put into these kind of like positions of of like social authority. What the? Hold on. Give me a second. If it turns out to be Matthew Wilkins, that's my thing. I'm gonna be annoyed. I would say I'd flip a shit, but anyway, I won't. But I will be annoyed. This is how I can get to this a lot quicker. Mixcloud. Okay. So, oh, it's Matt Wilkins. Congrats me on forgetting my own thing. Um, okay. Because these women were watching, there's some kind of coven of women watching. I was making these mixes, back here about these other women that are participating in this harassment and abuse game around me. And they're very ballsy. These days, they are not as ballsy, other than the most suicidal of them, which is there's quite a number of them, but a number of the women have backed off to some degree because I think they realize once Jezebel dies, they're all like the sword is at their throat, and I'm not going to hold back. So, and the sword being a what is that called? A metaphor for the justice of Yahweh God for abusive harassment that has continued for years, empowered illegally by the law, who they manipulated to attack me. But when it says mixtape coming 2018, it's only because I was making these other mixtapes for these other women as a form of defense against their coven of like mad, subversive, what I'm going to call magic, but subversive action and abuse in some kind of covert strike against me. So like she started dating this guy, whatever, the guy who's supposedly the father of her kid. She started dating him after I made this. Within a couple weeks, they were engaged in a relationship. Once I resurged back on whatever in like after 2019, sometime in 2020, whenever she had her kid, uh, she had this kid specifically to make some kind of point to me. That's why she then divorced him. And I also think she's probably a pedophile, is my guess, and wants to like fuck this kid or something. And it's just a way to be psychologically abusive to me. I don't even know if the kid is hers because he doesn't look like her to me, but whatever. Also, she's supposedly Israeli. I don't know if I believe that either. So, but she could be, and it could be another one of these synagogue of Satan, people pretending to be Jews that are actually hurting Israel, and that's I think one of the reasons why Israel is going to have to engage. The guy in Houston who seems to be connected to Israel more than these supposedly Israeli agents or Jewish people or whatever. Okay, she's made a bunch of money. Should Sophie choose to accept the offers for her virginity, her net worth will climb even more. I mean, you've already made 43 million. What there 7 figures? You already have more than that. So I don't know why you would take that to lose it on camera. Other than she's a subversive agent trying to make kind of problems for men like me or young men. I would say young men and young boys. I also think there was something where she got in trouble for like I don't know encouraging something about young boys or something. I don't know, but okay, hold on.
Companies actually offered me 7 figures to take my V card.
And what'd you say?
No. Why would I do that?
What do you mean no?
What do you
Well, why are you doing OnlyFans? You know what I mean? So I think it's gonna change. I think the idea is maybe she's saying no so that they put it to 8 figures or 9 figures or something. But we'll get to that in a second.
What do you mean? Hey, Camilla, nice to meet you. Hire me. I'll do it. I'll take it. I'll take one for the team, okay? Hit me up. Bruh. 7 figures aquí, por favor. Okay? Forget her. Might not be a V card. It'll be like a 13th card, but it's okay. Oh.
See, that's the thing is nobody wants the second or 13th or 99th or 200th card other than men who want to I guess make a point to abuse women in front of whatever. This has even been my point is that virginity has value, and this is what happens when market forces are allowed to show that that is going on. She's being offered 7 figures for her virginity, not to get married or anything, but just for someone to take it on camera and be able to lord that over whoever she's in a relationship for the rest of her life. Essentially, that is actually the crux of this. Which, if she's, I'm gonna say her life isn't gonna be that long because I think this is the exact type of Jezebel thing where sacrifice to porn stars or even OnlyFans. The idea that her fans are her idols more than Christ Jesus, which she's claiming he's her thing. Once she starts claiming, which she's already has, that she's a Christian, the Spirit of Yahweh will not will absolutely contend to prove you're not a Christian. What you're doing is Jezebel-esque. It is a problem, and if you go down this route, you will die, and you will be thrown into the second death, infinite burning torture, and you will be made an example of. But I don't think she is Jezebel because she doesn't have kids. I think one of these women that's around me that likes like Alessandra Ambrosio or some bullshit like that or whatever. I think that is Jezebel. And so anyway, I just think that this is a lingering kind of problem that is going on still because of whatever attack has happened to me, where it's trying to strip me of my authority by killing my social proofing. But if Jezebel dies, then I will have all the social proofing I need, plus I have the power of the Bible and the whole Christian church behind me. So, okay. Or at least I have the iron rod, and then it moves to the fifth church, and then the sixth church, and seventh church, and then by the seventh church, I'm the guy on the throne of Jesus and Yahweh. So I mean, that's just what it is. Okay, Miami, Florida native. Something about living paycheck to paycheck. Now my parents don't have to live paycheck to paycheck, so it's like essentially her parents have pimped their daughter, like to these fans. That you are not Christians doing this. I'm telling you. Else, if you're Christians, you are bad Christians, and you're hurting the church, and Yahweh will hurt you to make a point. Jesus, Yahweh, God will hurt you to make a point. Um, and that point is don't do this. But okay, so a virginal show for $250,000 seems pretty cheap to me. Even seven figures seems really cheap to me. Your debut would be a masterclass in proving you don't need to go all the way to make people go in. Let's give our viewers a front row seat to the phenomena of men falling to their knees and reaching for their wallets while you stay fully clothed. She's not fully clothed. I looked this up to confirm it. There are nude videos of her, but we'll talk about that here in a second. Looks like she's raising her hand. I mean, are you talking to me, Sophie? Am I going to get to take your virginity? Or are you going to be in my harem? Are you already? That would mean you're already in my harem and you're showing my stuff to a bunch of random men. So again, not a good look for you. She got a nice butt though, and the whole like "rawr, I'm a kitty cat" thing. You're about to see the lion of the tribe of Yoda. But okay. Anyway, did not mean to click it. So because it says hop in, am I supposed to think that I need to hop in? Anyway, and look, Lily Phillips, this girl, literally like crying. You know what I mean? Look at what's. It's like when people say, "Look at what they do," and don't look at what they say. Look at what her body is inherently doing based on what she's done. I've seen one of the interviews where she's like, "It was good," and it's like you can't control yourself. You know what I mean? It's like you're drunk off the dopamine of whatever. You know what I mean? But okay. And here's the part that I want to make sure. Your story of okay, let's see. Your story of rise. This is not the part. Hold on. Your story of rising from food stamps to $43 million is nothing short of iconic. This is not an icon that you want to be. This is the type of icon that Yahweh will kill for making an evil fucking example of sexuality and virginity. Uh, Nothing short of iconic, and we believe your success and creativity can inspire models and viewers alike. Plus, let's be honest, who wouldn't want to see what the most lucrative virgin in the game has to say? As reported by TMZ, Sophie Rain has allegedly received offers from porn companies, right? And fan like Sylvester Radakowski, yeah, Sylvester Rada. Anyway, yeah, like Imrata, because I think that there's some weird AI shit going on, but that's a different story for another day. The competitor of OnlyFans for a similar display, because she earlier said that her biggest OnlyFans sell is her virginity. I can't see Sophie Rain taking the bulk cash offer when she could be rinsing people of their money for years to come. That's also true. So, I do kind of want to say she's got some features that are not so dissimilar to mine. With this whole like Anja Ambrosio thing. Hey, mind over Matt. Anyway, I like at this point I could be all sorts of women's biological fathers. There was a huge earthquake that happened in 2004, wasn't there? So I wonder what that is associated with, because it seems like a number of these large catastrophes that have happened have been associated with things that have gone on in my reality. But okay, this is the most important thing that I want to take from this. First of all, that she's been offered seven figures, and she said it herself. Let's watch it one more time.
Okay.
Sophie, I've heard you've gotten a lot of offers from different people.
Multiple companies actually offered me seven figures to take my V card.
Okay, on film. So just wanted to make that point obvious. As reported by TMZ, Sophie Rain has allegedly received offers from porn companies and Fansly, the competitor of OnlyFans, for a similar display. I also want to say that when you look at the TMZ thing, lose your virginity on cam, they're making into it a fun game. But again, I think this is like something out of Russia to make some kind of. Also, is this guy like what happened with this guy? Is he connected to whatever's going on with Alessandra and Aline Ambrosio? Is it the father of Aline Ambrosio's kid? Because he looks a lot like Dylan Ambrosio. But anyway, I could understand if that's why he was suicided. But okay, let's move on. We're told so blah blah blah. She has offers to lose it on camera, and not to mention, Sophie previously shared on TMZ Live that she thinks the biggest draw to her OF account is the fact that she's actually a virgin. We'll talk about that in a second. So we doubt she'd want to push anything away from her very profitable audience. It's like Belle Delphine. Once Belle Delphine actually started doing actual sexuality, I'm pretty sure her numbers dropped drastically. Like once she started doing actual porn, like with hardcore porn. So she was very, sharp and wise up to that point, and then that was stupid. But okay, this says keep doing you, girl, literally, and it's like this is why I'm like, is this something outside of America trying to like? I don't just mean corrupt whatever, but this is like toxic for the American youth. Um, and I guess we could do one more thing. Uh, let's just look at some of the pictures here. Um, she's hot. I mean, it's not like she's not unattractive. I look at really hot women a lot, like a lot of models, and they're giving me a lot of attention and stuff like that. So Sophie Rain is not the hottest woman that is giving me attention, but you know, she's not ugly, is what I'm trying to say. So this is also one of the reasons, hypothetically, I'm the father of Alessandro Ambrosio's kids, like Andrea Ambrosio and whatever. It should give me some social proofing to be able to use to say like, yo, these hot women are not all they're cooked up to be. They are more snaky than a lot of the men. They're causing problems. They're fucking toxic. They're trying to poison me down with toxic forms of sexuality, but it's not working. And when it recoils on Jezebel's head, whoever that is, which I'm guessing is Alessandro Ambrosio, everyone will know. I guess it could be Beyonce or some other thing, but I'm pretty sure it's Alessandro Ambrosio. There's a reason I've hyper focused on her and like lasered in on her, because I just get this internal gut feeling that it's her and her family, uh, or I guess Lucilla Ambrosio or something, or whatever. But okay, this is what I want to say. Bible verse about virginity, and we'll even do this. I'm gonna pull up through desktop and go here, and we're gonna pull up. We'll go to first. We'll go to the Song of Songs. I just want to point out the Bible and Yahweh are not like anti-sex. Only the church, where a bunch of like men basically like, even the translations of this aren't good. It like lowers the sexuality, but when you read it in Hebrew, any Hebrew speaking person that reads like the Song of Solomon, you realize it is very sexual. It is almost like an erotic novel. But in most Bibles, it's still pretty like obviously sexual. But in Hebrew, it reads like like certain parts of it read like an erotic novel. It's also not very long, but anyway, when it talks about on my bed at night I sought him whom my heart loves. What do you think she's talking about? What do you think she's doing on her bed at night, thinking about this guy who she loves, right? Who has however many virgins and however many queens and concubines and stuff. It literally says a specific number. And then it talks about, now he's talking about her and it's talking about her tits. Like, Sophie has nice tits. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we'd be talking about this. This would be me talking about her if she wasn't actually, giving all the looks, getting other men looking on OnlyFans, because I don't like that. And I don't think Yahweh does either. And I'm going to prove that she is not a virgin according to the Bible. But you got to give me a moment here. So, in other words, according to Christianity. Now, in Christianity, there's also this idea of forgiveness, but she would have to stop sinning. That's the whole thing with Jesus is, uh, acknowledge, like, admit you've done wrong. That's repent. Change your mind. Stop sinning. Right? Okay. Um. Okay. So when it says, she is a garden enclosed, my sister, my promised bride, a garden enclosed, a sealed fountain, your shoots form an orchard of pomegranate trees, rarest saffrons. He's talking about these smells and stuff, these subtle odors. What kind of odors do you get are relating to sexuality? What kind of juices and odors? Because it talks about fruit and juices and stuff like that. I mean, I'm just trying to make it clear. Fountain that makes the gardens fertile. Well of living water, streams flowing down from Lebanon. Read the Proverbs. It talks about sharing, the fountainhead. I'm going to suggest that's both genitalia on man and woman that are excreting different juices and semen and stuff like that. Okay, and pee and whatever. It is very sexual when you actually read it in Hebrew. When you read it in English, it depends on the translators. I'm going to suggest that most Bible translators don't translate it very sexually because they're like monks and fucking men that have been held up in rooms for, I don't know, 50 years, like prostrate, and like, there's like a monk who died. He was born in a monastery and he never saw a woman. I'm sure he's not the only one, but there's a verified like guy who that was his life. I feel sorry for him because that's not how the Bible actually goes. That's how Christianity has been, what it's been turned into. But that's not what it says in the Bible. I read the Bible, this thing that I'm reading, as like my main source of power. It's not the Pope. It's not the Pope doesn't have ultimate authority. The Bible has ultimate authority, and the Spirit contained in the name of the one that is contained in the Bible, Jesus and Yahweh. That is the authority, and that's why when there's fights over who's in charge of Christianity, the idea is that the person conquering at the seven churches of Asia, which I'm very clearly, I'm your best candidate. I'm absolutely pretty much your only actual candidate, I think. Um, Very clearly, that would put me in charge of Christianity in the Christian church. I'm 33. I'm literally the age that Jesus was when he started doing his. Actually, not when he started. When he died. I'm a 33 and a half, and I'm 33 and a half. So okay, that should give you a hint. And one of the reasons why is you couldn't have been younger to be a rabbi in that era, according to Jewish tradition. In actuality, there's nothing about that in the text, but in order in the Jews' own thing for their king to come and basically have authority, he had to match even some of their expectations, like in their age limits and stuff. But you could tell when he was born and when he was younger, he had more authority spiritually than them. It's just, once he got to 30, whatever, they couldn't say, oh well, he's not the guy. You know what I mean? They couldn't say, oh, he's too young to know. So okay, let my beloved come into his garden. Okay, hold on, wait. Awake, north wind, come wind of the south, breathe over my garden to spread its sweet smell around. It's like if you're going down on a girl, right? And the smell of her pussy juice. I'm trying to say this because a monk isn't going to be able to tell you this, but like I've actually experienced some reality, so I can give you the what's up here. Let my beloved come into his garden. Let him taste. You know what I'm saying? Get what I'm saying? Just for the fucking dull of ears and hearing and heart. He's eating her out. He's eating that pussy. Maybe eating that pussy an asshole. I mean, it's Yahweh God created sexuality. He didn't shy away from it in his own scripture. The issue is that letting humans dictate what proper sexuality is not going to fly when there's an actual spiritual authority. And so, okay, let's see. Anything else? Anything else that I think? Oh, this one. Um, So the bride, I sleep, but my heart is awake. She's sleeping on her bed, right? I hear my beloved knocking. So she's asleep and she starts hearing this knocking, and so what I'm suggesting is she's dreaming. Open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my perfect one, for my head is covered with dew, my locks with the drops of the night. I have taken my tunic off and put it on again. I have washed my feet. Am I to dirty them again? Feet have a sexual connotation in Hebrew. Okay. My beloved thrust his hand through the hole in the door. It doesn't actually say this. We're not going to go to. We could. No, I'm not going to do it right now. In Hebrew, it is much more sexually explicit. It is clearly not talking about him thrusting his hand. If it is, it's a euphemism, a sexual euphemism, and a double entendre. It is not just saying like, oh, he's putting his hand. Like what door has a hole in it? This is fingering her, right? You get what it, and she might even be fingering herself because the idea is she's asleep, but her heart is awake. She's mentally awake. She's aware of her love, and she's having a wet dream. That's what this is saying. I trembled to the core of my being. Then I rose to open to my beloved. Myrrh ran off my hands, pure myrrh off my fingers onto the handle of the bolt. You think that's talking about, I don't think it actually says that in Hebrew, but you think it's talking about that, or do you think that she was having a wet dream and rubbing her pussy, and like, she has pussy juices rubbing off her hand, and that's why it's saying these odorous, this thing, myrrh, which, even remember, that's what Jesus gets, and it has symbolic representation, but it also is one of those things that has a smell and it's dripping off her hands. Okay, you get what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to make it really obvious. It does not shy away from sexuality. There are 60 queens and 80 concubines and countless maidens or virgins. But my dove is unique, mine unique and perfect. She is the darling of her mother, the favorite of the one who bore her. The maidens, the virgins or young women, saw her and proclaimed her blessed. Queens and concubines, girlfriends, sang her praises. Who is this arising like the dawn? Fair as the moon, resplendent as the sun, terrible as an army with banners. Okay? Do you get it? It is not shying away from sexuality. That being said, when we get to the book of Revelation, there's a clear issue that Yahweh has with some group of Nicolaitans, some group of people using sexual traps. That is exactly what Balaam and Balak and like this whole portion is talking about, a trap set for idols so that they eat food. Now remember, we just read something where it's talking about eating pussy very clearly, and yet it's talking about food. Food in Proverbs and in various parts in the Bible, not all of it, but in various parts, especially here, is talking about, well, it's a euphemism for sexuality and eating, I'm going to suggest eating, like having sex or even having a family and children with a woman, like procreating, fertility, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But mostly sex directly. Okay, that's why it says they committed adultery. You don't commit adultery by eating food. Earlier in the New Testament, it basically says if you don't know that someone sacrificed actual food to an idol, your conscience is not. I think that's also even talking about sexuality, kind of. But so if your wife has been, sacrificed to other men or literal idols, or fans, only fans or something, they're only fans. Don't worry about it. We'll get into that in a second. But you get what I'm saying, or men or different deities that are empowered by some god like Baal or Balaam or Allah, who's just generic deity, whatever. It's not Yahweh. That's also why it says a white stone as opposed to a black stone. I think Allah is just, some group of 10 men or something like that, that some woman. I'm guessing that Alessandra Ambrosio has sacrificed Anja Ambrosio, or is sacrificing, or is going to sell her virginity to a group of men in order to hurt me, because I'm almost positive she's my daughter. I believe she's my daughter, but I can't prove it. That's what I mean by I'm almost positive. I'm positive. To me, she's my daughter. If she's not my daughter, I'm like the most daddy person in her life, because I actually care and I want something better than whatever the fucking evil reality that I can see around her is. Um, so, but I'm pretty positive. I'm her biological father, man. Look, just our features are too. Her features do not match the guy that is meant to look like me, Jamie Mazur, who's supposed to be her biological father. When you actually look at her compared to me as opposed to her compared to him. There's too many things that genetically cannot match between them. She looks like Andra Ambrosio looks like a direct combination of me and Alessandra Ambrosio. The only thing that doesn't exactly look like that is she has a cleft chin, where my grandpa on both sides have cleft chins. My dad has a cleft chin. Um, you know, and I would say, well, look at Noah Ambrosio. He looks absolutely more like me than Jamie Mazur. It's not even close. So this is also, I think he's a Jewish guy. I think this is why him and his parents follow like Krishna or some bullshit like that. They don't follow Yahweh. They are fake Jews. That's exactly what it's talking about when it says here. When it says, I just wanted to make sure I was actually on the thing here. When it says that now I'm going to make this synagogue a state, when it explicitly says one of the reasons is I've not disowned the name Yahweh in Jesus, right? Jesus literally means Yahweh is salvation. That's why Yeshua means he is salvation, and the point is, well, if Jesus itself, the extended form of that name is Yahweh is salvation, and Yahweh in the Old Testament and Isaiah says he is salvation, Jesus is Yahweh. That's the point, and that is exactly what it is. That's why it's, even reads this, the name of his God, the name his father, his own new name, and the name of the new city, the New Jerusalem. It's all Yahweh. So there's also me making sense of the seven churches thing and the book of Revelation more than anybody else ever has that I can see. Should also tell you I'm probably the guy conquering at the seven churches of Asia, and this is very important to me, and I think it's very important to Jesus and Yahweh, which is why Miss Sophie Rain, like, you're either in my harem and you're going to lose your virginity, or I'm going to pop your cherry or whatever, or you're sacrificing yourself to a bunch of idols and whatever. But this might even be that, like, me even saying that is accepting food sacrificed to idols. If that's the case, I repent of it. Like, I don't want to die because of that, but I'm trying to be helpful because I would rather not see her like go all the way and like make some point to either lose her virginity to that or even keep doing this. Again, I want to say that in my story and pictures, I'm allowed to be as graphic as I want and say whatever the fuck I want. In that, you can see, because I'm sure people are watching publicly, she has gone all the way nude, and you can see her nipples, you can see her butt. You can't really see her asshole, but I only was able to find 3 videos that were like 3 videos, and I'm sure she has more, and I'm sure you can see her asshole and her pussy in some of those videos. You can see her pussy in at least one of these videos. Very, very like you can pretty. It's not that she's opening up and like fingering herself, but she is rubbing herself and like it's explicit enough. You can literally see her pussy, but is it opened up to you like a Hustler magazine? Not quite. It's more like Playboy, but okay. Anyway, and what I've been saying is, if women want this within my harem, you can make that for the women in my harem and me, and we can make exclusive content. You can be exclusive with me forever. This is my offer to all women. This is the reason why when Jesus says, when it talks about food here, eating food sacrificed to idols, and then Jesus says very clearly, I will allow to share my look, I'm standing at the door knocking. If one of you hears me, I heard him and I'm opening the door. And opens the door, I will come in to share his meal with him side by side, right? The idea is that you go down a little bit more, and what does Jesus have set apart for him? 144,000 out of the tribes of Israel. What is this talking about? Well, you get to number 14, and it uses a word that's only used of women. They are female virgins, specifically set aside as first fruits for Jesus to take their virginity and to be in Jesus' harem, and to be, it says, to follow the Lamb, to be his companion. So you can be my companion, or you're not a Christian. That's the idea. Or you can be Jesus' companion, but there ain't no more Jesus person than I am. I mean, like, not even fucking kidding. This is not me trying to be whatever. If me saying the word fuck is like, oh, you said a swear word. It doesn't say you can't do that in the Bible. You need to wake the fuck up, okay? What it does say you can't do is a lot of this bullshit that I'm saying you should not be doing, okay? But yeah, 144,000 virgins. Also, it says they never allowed a lie to pass their lips and no fault can be found in them. So, like, Sophie Rain claiming to be a virgin, but if she's sucking dick and getting fucked in the ass and, like, giving out hand jobs and being cummed on and stuff, but her cherry hasn't been popped, she is not a virgin. But we'll even get into she's not a virgin just based on what I already saw, where she's nude on camera and showing, unless I'm being tricked and like I'm the only one who can see that, and this is like I'm in some kind of like my harem is playing a joke on me, which you shouldn't be doing this. But in any instance, that's the only way she's getting out of this with being a virgin, right? If only the harem could see it. But I don't think that's what this is. I don't think we're there yet. So, um, okay. And if you disagree with me, you know what? Don't leave a comment. Just go away and like live your life. You know what I mean? Like if you disagree with me, I don't care. Uh, okay. So, and when it says they've never allowed a lie to pass through their lips, I think one of the tricks that they're trying to do with, different women around me is, oh, she's a virgin. You know what I mean? You're not a virgin at that point. You're explicitly not a virgin, according to this. That's the whole point of why it says they've never allowed a lie. When it's talking about a lie in the Old Testament, when it's saying a lie, it's talking about idols, other men. And I'm going to suggest men with other spiritual entities inside of them, not Jesus, not Yahweh, right? The spirit of Yahweh, the Holy Spirit. They have some other spirit, like the spirit of Baal, or I'm going to guess probably the way the world's going now, the spirit of Allah, which is just Baal. Hubal, like the Syrian deity Hubal, the whatever, it is a fake knockoff of Yahweh. That's why they take the name Yahweh out the Bible. That's why they changed Jesus' name to Isa. They try to get it to point everywhere away from Yahweh as they possibly can. Other than the name John is turned into Yahia or Yahya, which then, dumb. But okay, anyway. So my point with this is when it says here at the fourth church, nevertheless, I know how much you're putting up with and you're still making progress. Nevertheless, I have a complaint to make. You're encouraging, or in Greek, it actually seems to indicate you forgive the woman Jezebel. So I no longer forgive these women that have been doing this to me. Alessandra Ambrosio, whatever woman is doing this, I'm not forgiving you. If this is the thing that I'm like saying to Sophie Rain or whatever, like join my harem and like drop it and say that I'm right publicly and make a point to like support me. If you're really Christian, support Jesus and support me. You aren't going to find a more Christian man than me. You aren't going to find a more Christian man who's not lying when he talks about his sexuality. If I have a bunch of virgins and women, it's not going to really bother me too much that you've shown your tits and pussy and ass to a whole bunch of other men. It doesn't feel great. Whatever. I got more abundance in pussy and asshole than I know what to do with. And tits. But and wombs, because I'm yeah. But I'm a dad. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be more of a dad. But we're okay. And this is also why I think the idea is by the end of it, everybody's in my harem. Like anybody in the kingdom of heaven, you're just doing what I'm saying. Like in the sense, like not everybody's in my harem. Well, kind of. You're all angels around the throne. That's what it's talking about. You're all messengers of my reality. Not some other satanic entity that has taken my reality away from me and is abusing me with my own fucking resources, which is, I think, the idea of Satan. So, like when Satan tries to give Jesus the kingdom, you don't think it was already fucking Jesus's? It clearly is and was. So, okay. But all you gotta do is bend the knee to me. I ain't bending the knee to anybody. You can fuck all the way off. I'm gonna throw you into an infinite burning torture, second death burning lake, you piece of shit, you dumb bitch. I do not bow to Satan, and I talk shit against Satan because I'm for sure someone who he can maybe get his little tendrils in my reality a little bit, but the more I talk shit about him and just expose him for being a weak little bitch and a fake knockoff deity, the weaker he is. This is why he's about to be thrown down from heaven, and like the idea is he's snaked off resources, he's gone up with all the resources and whatever. He's about to be thrown down into a place where he's not going to have any resources. The only way he can, this rebellion in secret that's gone on around me that I've shown you with Imrata and all these other women, the only way it can continue is if they and all these other fucking people who support Satan and who aren't Christian take a mark of the beast. And that might even be something related to Islam. Again, it is clearly the beast from the earth is from Surah 2782 and is risen by the false prophet is risen by Islam, according to Islam. I mean, that's not even, it's not even a question. So, okay. So Jezebel, who claims to be a prophetess or someone speaking with the spirit of Yahweh, Jesus, the Holy Spirit. So someone, I think, basically claiming to be a Christian, but saying that it's all right that you can eat food sacrificed to idols, or you can, give your sexuality to just people who are fans more than you listen to your husband, and you just give it to him and the other women in his harem. That's my offer also to you. Is you get a bunch of girlfriends who are willing to like provide you sexual pleasure. I'm willing to provide you. We make a bunch of content all for each other, contained in something private. Other men can have the same if they believe, and we go to that place called the kingdom of heaven. You can have like people are infinite. We make more people all the fucking time. That's like people are not the problem. Pussy is not the problem. You know what the problem is? Control over governments that are using this thing, these kind of fucking evil, rapey, whatever. Like the Saudi Arabian government uses Islam, or whatever is trying to use Islam. I think by the end of it, it's China. That's why the dragon, you know what I mean? It's a symbol of China. Something out of East Asia is, or I mean, something that is the dragon. I mean, I've even said, pretty sure it's a diviner enchanter, because that's what the snake is in the garden. It is someone like Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat who's using fucking magic and wizardry to try to hold power, and it doesn't work against me because I'm like the Monkey King, and I'm gonna beat you over the head with my Ryu Jingu Bang iron rod. Even the dragon's afraid of fucking the Monkey King in that thing. So, like, if at this point I'm not Jesus, I'm very clearly Goku and the Monkey King. You get Asian Superman, probably also regular Superman. That's why it says the Morning Star, and then there's a S next to it. But also maybe that's S for Sophie or Stephanie or one of these other women with S in their thing, because what I'm saying, the S on Superman's chest. But the Morning Star, when it said talked about in we even just read it, or I just read it, when it says, "Who is this like rising like the morning, like the dawn, like the morning star, like the bright star of the morning?" It's not talking. I basically, the thing is, I get to be the king of Babylon. I get to and if Babylon starts following Jesus and Yahweh, Babylon implodes on itself, and this becomes the kingdom of heaven. So, okay. And yeah, the fake Jews here, my whole point is there are real people that believe in Yahweh. They just don't want to believe in Jesus yet. I think that at this point, this is where they do start to believe in Jesus, and that's why there's a 1260-day period. It's because what I'm saying becomes so undeniable. Fake Judaism falls because it comes out that there's been a bunch of like the Jamie Mazur thing. He's not Anja and Noah's father, and now there's been a series of men almost about the number of churches that are in here. There's about, we're at either 4 or 5. Buck Palmer is either 4 or 5. So and I think number 6 is Satan. I think the 7th church is when it all falls, and there's not, like, 7 is like a new child or something, and that's anyway. This is not, we're not talking about this here. We're just talking about, I'm just trying to make it sure, like, make sure you get, like, Sophie Rain, if she sees this, which I'm positive she will. This is your out. I'm giving you an opportunity to repent. This is your out. You could be in my harem. I'm your, man. I'm your husband exclusively. Your whatever, boyfriend, whatever the fuck. You get what I'm saying? You're in my harem. You help me, and we go to a kingdom of heaven. How does that sound? And like, you're forgiven, and somehow you being an OnlyFans model actually has saved the world, or something like that. Because it doesn't look like Alessandra Ambrosio is taking that offer, or Anja Ambrosio, or any of these other women. But I do think it would be fucking hilarious and ironic if an OnlyFans model did it. So, I mean, look, all I can say is I'm trying to be as forgiving as possible, like it says with Jesus, but it also very clearly says here, like, the complaint, the word in is not encouraging in Greek. It very clearly says that you forgive her, you like release her of her sins. I don't know who this is about. Like, it is about one of the women, but I'm also going to suggest whichever this woman is, has children, and so that's why I think it's Alessandra Ambrosio, because she's taken, she's bred me, like force bred me when I was 16 without my permission. You can thank Nikki Dunn from Lutheran High North on that one. I think that's, part of the Nicolations thing. And I absolutely think that this shit is coming to a sudden, devastating end for these people. And, I wouldn't want to be them for goddamn sure. Or any of the men connected, because it very clearly says, like, yo, I'm going to bring them into that will test them severe troubles that will test them severely. It basically says in Greek, I'm going to put them under pressure to the point of death unless they repent. And if they don't, that means they die publicly, like very publicly in a terrible, violent way. And, I'm going to suggest super aggressive forms of cancer that are clearly connected to whatever this is going on around me is a violent way to die. But, okay. And you're also condemning your closest loved ones, and you will not be able to save them if Yahweh takes with his hand. What he does with his hand, you cannot take back. Okay, so I just wanted to make it very clear about Jezebel and Sophie and all this. And so one more thing, we're going to look at this concept of virgin in the Bible, and I'm just going to make it very clear that Sophie Rain currently is not biblically a virgin. She's not. She's only a virgin in the sense, like, maybe she hasn't had her cherry popped, like her hymen popped by a man, someone, man or woman, and that is not the definition of virgin in the Bible, nor to me as just a thinking man. Why would I want a woman who's been fucked? Like, I remember a girl named Summer Shelton from UT Dallas who, like, she had kind of openly stated she let men, like, at least to me, maybe this was explicitly to try to hurt me and, like, cause, like, some kind of fucking, it's like Babylon is just so fucking retarded it hurts my brain, because this was for a while kind of troubling. She said she let a man, like some boyfriend, fuck her in the ass a lot, which some women don't even let you do that, you know what I mean, with their husbands. But she let her boyfriends in high school fuck her in the ass, and I think she was saying that she gave them blowjobs and hand jobs and did, like, everything sexually except her cherry wasn't popped, and she didn't allow vaginal penetration. Though maybe, he could come on her pussy and, like, rub his dick on her pussy, like, whatever. You get what I'm saying? Come on her face, take pictures. You could have men running trains on women like that. Fucking them in the. You could have a Lily whatever where all the men, like the 1,000 men or 10,000 men or something, all fucked her in the ass and in, like, a quick go, and there's video and 8K of everything, but she's still a virgin if her cherry isn't popped. Now, anybody with half a brain would be like, that is fucking retarded. She's not a virgin. You know what I mean? Like, you are an idiot if you think you're a virgin after going through all that. But, modern society is stupid beyond all recognition, and, I could totally believe that people would actually think that that's what a virgin is. So to prove that biblically that is not a virgin, we're going to quickly look at just an instance of virgin. I think this is the first use of the word, Genesis 24:16. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her, which means to know, to Yoda a woman, and that's why my name is Yoda. To know a woman means to know intimately, sexually. I think this is why Yoda. I think this is why. I also think that's why Yoda is the Grandmaster in Star Wars, and that there's been such a contention recently through Disney to denigrate Yoda. Like, they can't deny I have lightning power or something, but they can try to manipulate the narrative, because I think Disney being the Magic Kingdom, it sure as hell is not the kingdom of Yahweh. It seems like a cheap intellectual property knockoff. I mean, Gal Gadot's even fucking playing a evil queen like Jezebel. It should just be more obvious than obvious, huh? But okay. Let's go to this. And Gal Gadot, I've seen enough idols in her pictures, whether they be Buddha heads or whatever. I've never heard her say the name Yahweh. She's one of these, like, ethnically supposedly Jewish women that has, like, if you were literally as much of a Hebrew as you possibly could be, and you were a part of Israel in the Old Testament, and you started following another god, you were excised from and exiled from Israel. You were cut off from the Commonwealth of Israel. However, foreigners who actually pledged themselves to Yahweh could be a part of the of Israel. You know what I mean? More so than someone who's a Jew or a Hebrew that stopped believing in Yahweh and started following, like, some other deity. Obviously, all of Israel at multiple points starts following other deities And that is literally when Yahweh says, enough, exiled, all of you. And that is the whole exile into Babylon and whatever. So I don't want to hear anything from Jews saying that I don't get it. I clearly get it more than you. You don't follow Jeremiah 23, 5 and 6. That's Jesus. Jesus is the branch, the Messiah. He had to have come by a certain time and be cut off. It's already happened. You can't have another Messiah other than Jesus. When this earthquake happens in Israel, it steals it forever. If you're wrong by that point, you're wrong. So, all right, at that point, you're wrong. Now let's get to this here. Which one was it? 16. Okay. And the damsel, so Nara, girl, like young woman, was very fair to look upon, and a virgin. So she was a young girl. It explicitly says she was a virgin, and then it even more explicitly says, neither had any man known her, or seen her, observed her. You see this? Observe. Yada, that's why I'm Yoda. Or, Ida, like da being knowledge. He, when you put a yod in front, he knows. Also looks like a guy bent over with his ass up. That is a more modern form of Hebrew. I think it's some of this Synagogue of Satan stuff, because the actual letters did not look like this when the Bible was written. Neither did they have vowel markings, but that's a different story for a different time. So know, known, understand, knowledge. In other words, if I see your tits and I see your ass and your pussy hole and your asshole and stuff, I'm trying to be as explicit as possible so that you understand. I'm not shying away from sexuality. The Bible doesn't shy away from sexuality. It just says it in words that would make sense 2,000, 3,000 years later. Does that make sense? Because it does. It makes sense 3,000 years later, what this is trying to say. So, okay. Betula, right? Betula, right? Okay. Virgin. Well, just to make sure that you get this. Betul, right? Betulim, virginity, like the tokens of your virginity. In other words, I think there are times when they had to prove that she was a virgin. One of the tokens of virginity is blood on, like your popped cherry, essentially, on like some kind of rag or something that you've used to clean yourself up with. And that's like trophies. Okay, well, that's like a trophy, but it's also a token of virginity. But it explicitly says here the idea is neither had any man known her, seen her nude, seen her whatever. The idea is that she is veiled, like, and when I'm saying this here, virgin, notice this is past participle of an unused root word meaning to separate, as in like you are separated from men seeing you, right? Feminine passive participle of an unused root meaning to separate a virgin from her. What is this word here? Do I gotta zoom in? Because I'm going to. What is this word here? What is that word? Can you see that? You should be able to see it. It's as big as I can fucking as I can get it. What is that word? What is this suggesting? Is this suggesting that you can be an OnlyFans model, show your tits, your asshole, your pussy, finger yourself on camera, do all this, and you're still a virgin, Sophie Rain? Is that what it's suggesting? Are you a Christian? Are you a Christian? Because if you are, repent. Follow me. At least engage what I'm saying, and like you can't be a Christian and say that I'm wrong, because this is just factually correct based on what it says. There's no you can claim that you're a virgin as according to Islam or some other, or like what our modern society says, but you cannot claim that Christian wise or biblically that you're a virgin, because you aren't. And I'm offering you as much of an out as I possibly can. You can be in my private harem if you help me, like, say, oh, I was wrong. I am a Christian. I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. Matt is very forgiving and like, thank you. I love you, Daddy. You know what I mean? But okay. By continuation, a bride. Someone worth marrying. Unlike a lot of these women these days, like Lily or whatever, that are like toxic even to themselves, and yet people give them attention because, I don't know, gets your dick hard or something. Because what is wrong is attractive. Even Paul says that. I do what's wrong to me. It's sometimes these things are like, it's like it gets your dick hard. You get what I'm saying? Like variety and evil whatever things, and like what is more wrong is like, oh, that's hot and wrong, and oh, I need to watch more. You know what I mean? But at the same time, what I'm describing, you have harems of women that are virgins from your, like, you're the only man to know them, whatever. The only men that would not be interested in what I'm saying are gay men and bi men who are actually gay men. So like when other men say that this is like not attracted to them, what my response is, well, you're secretly gay men, because this is what men want. If men want one wife that is like, dedicated to them, what man wouldn't want a whole harem of women, let alone 144,000? Hallelujah. Why do these suicide bombers in Islam, on top of the only guaranteed way in Islam, this cheap fucking knockoff of the Bible that's fucking by Satan and literally is toxic to no end, and encourages and supports and allows rape, actual rape, Surah 23, Surah 23, 5, 6, and 7 or 8 or something. It's somewhere when it says the believers are essentially legally allowed to have sex with women that they're married to, but also who they can hold with their right hand. In other words, who they can overpower. So anyway, I think, and there's also a reason in Islam you can have 4 wives. It's because men like fucking women. They like fucking multiple women. Some men want one wife. I want one wife who's not a big hoe bag, but it's hard enough to find one, let alone 4, let alone 72, let alone 144,000. Also notice 144,000 is a play on the number 72. I'm going to suggest that that's because me being a martyr and having to go through this for fucking like 20 years, and they killed me internally a long time ago, and it's been literal torture, and me having to like fight back and like take my reality back from me. Yeah, I think that, and that people who are supposed to be Jewish have been helping them. Yeah, that's why this, I get 144,000 sealed of the tribes of Israel. And why is that? What is 72 times 2? 144. All right, what happens if I multiply it? Oh, no, no. Oh, 144,000. Okay, it's double and then alpha'd. 144,000. Thank you. All right. And then it's also the tribes of Israel, there's a certain amount from each tribe. So except Dan, maybe one of the tribes is left out. And I can suggest for reasons, but we're not going to go into that. So Betula, we can even look at, kind of go back here. What a bat. Oh, a bat. Daughter. That's where the word daughter comes from. Okay, from this word bin, or son, child, and then when you put a tau at the end, it is a a daughter because it's feminine. Okay, I get it. Cool. Now when we go down here, Betula, adding this is like daughter, and then I don't know what this is. This makes it feminine. Daughter he teaches or something. I don't know. I am not so advanced in Hebrew that I can tell you what this exactly means right now. Daughter and I don't know. I can't tell you that right now. Probably someone a little more advanced in Hebrew could, and they'd be like, "Damn, this guy doesn't know Hebrew and he still is able to pick up on this." Yes. So I don't have anything more to add. That's it. But in here I'm also going to do this. Let's try to find a good clickbait thumbnail to use that includes Sophie Rain's big titties, because they are nice. I mean, I do. They aren't the nicest titties in the world. No offense. I'm not trying to beat you over the head with like what I think of your looks or whatever. What do I think? Could she? She could be my daughter, but probably not. Just probably not. But maybe, I don't know. Is that one a good one? Oh, that might be a great one because it has a cross in it. The only thing is I need a bigger. a bigger picture. We're gonna go to size and make it large. I mean, I clearly like tits. Look. I'm gonna show this too. We're gonna go back into the Jerusalem Bible one more time. This is one of my favorite verses because it really shows that Yahweh understands men and probably women too. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it could not be more obvious to me that Yahweh understands men. Uh, by the name of the stone of Israel, you know that white stone that I have, the one that is opposite of the black stone of Islam, which is a knockoff venom fucking meteorite. Blah 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 blah. Do I need to go into it again? No, not really. This one, blessings of breasts and womb. Maybe I'll even have this on the on the thing here. Uh, blessings of breasts and womb. I love breasts. I love wombs. I love ass. I love pussy. I love butthole. Women butthole. I like my own butthole too because I gotta poop. But you know, I think everybody poops. I've heard. Uh, or if you have some issues with that, I mean, you know, in the kingdom of heaven you won't. Okay, all right. That's exactly actually it. All right. Do we have one where she has a cross on her chest? Because there's a number of those. I mean, I just need one that's big enough that you can see the cross. That are pity. Oh, she also has a Spider-Man video. Look, I'm Spider-Man. Hey y'all, I'm Spider-Man. Look, you can also look up. Hold on. Uh, does Sophie Rain model nude? You know, these are probably leaks, so I don't know how long they'll be up. But yesporn.vip, so that should give you a hint if it's on a porn website. If you click it, there's at least 3 videos of her nude. This is where I found this. Other than that, I looked up like Sophie Rain nude and all sorts of stuff. Like if you just look up Sophie Rain nude, a lot of these are like University of Southern California. You know, a lot of these are just like clickbait and viruses and stuff. So I mean, and you know, here's what I'll also say. Is this reality? Like she did just fuck like a rapper or something? That should give you an example. That should also be why the idea of sacrifice to idols, because he's just some fucking random guy who's willing to kill himself into whatever. You know what I mean? Like that seems to be the gist of a lot of these. And like, what is up with rappers and like Jay-Z being caught fucking raping 13-year-olds and shit like that? I mean, rap is literally going to be the thing that implodes. You know, it was created to take down the black community, and like certain, not all rappers are a problem. You get what I mean? Some are just guys trying to express themselves, but a lot of the rap community is also something about this. What is it? He's only 12. He was only 12. Is that me? Because they did that to me when I was 12 or something. Because I think that actually did happen. I think they bred me when I was 12, but I mean, again, she could be my daughter. I'm not saying she's not, but I just don't. I don't know, and I don't really at this point. I'm not gonna lie. I just don't really care that much. Is she like you know? Um, I'm also suggesting that looking at other men in porn and stuff is a you know that's more sacrificing to idols and stuff. But okay, so you get what I'm saying? Like you can pull up the thing that I just showed where you go to that one place and there are um, you know there's nudes of her. And look, it does look like probably there's something going on with him. She probably wouldn't be around him if she wouldn't like sucking his dick or something like that. So, or you know, oh, I give him a hand job, but I'm still a virgin. I let him fuck me in the ass, but I'm still a virgin. Okay, and only in Fantasyland are you still a virgin, lady. But you know, I just have a brain, and most men don't. It seems. Oh, here's perfect. This is perfect, girl. This is perfect. I found the perfect one. It got tits in it. It's got a cross and a little heart. You're making a cute little face. Hold on. I'll even just do this one because it's really obvious on this one. All right, how do I do this? Is this a good? Is this a good thumbnail? I don't know. Is this a good thumbnail? Oh no, you can't see. Is this a good thumbnail? I don't know. I'm trying to come up with some. My fingers don't do the. Well, they do, but I'm just bad at it. Is it this way? Hold on. Yeah, it's this way. Okay. Oh, I can zoom in even more. No, it's not gonna help. Uh, this last section is just comedy, and also you. I mean, I guess there's no guy that doesn't like tits. You know what I mean? Some men who are like super Christian and don't like. It is. It was difficult for me to do the research on this one because it's like, damn, I want a nut. But it's also like I don't want to waste it. It seems like a waste of nut to like, you know, at any with most of these women at this point. But like, this in particular, where it's like I don't trust her fucking as far as I can throw her, and I can't throw her at all anywhere because she ain't here. She's somewhere else, so she's like negative as far as I can throw her. I can't even throw her negatively because she ain't even here. She's like, way back there. So that's as far as I can throw her, somewhere way the fuck away from me. And like I can't even throw her there. So I mean that should tell you that means I can't throw her very far. So then I probably don't trust her. This could also be like a Miami attack type thing, but I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I'm trying to just come up with good thumbnails or something like, let me do some of the things that she's been doing. Oh, she does in those videos. Oh, baby. Okay. Yes, am I a comedian? I don't know if I'm very funny. I'm funny to me. So that's all that matters to me. Um, hmm. I don't know. Anything else? I'm just trying to make it as explicit and like what the fuck as possible. But it's for a good reason. I mean, it's not as if I'm not uh, making a good point here, right? So that's it. That's all I have for you. Um, she ain't a virgin, but she ain't a virgin biblically. But like my guess is if she's hanging around with rappers and shit, she ain't and Aiden Ross and shit like that. Aiden Ross giving people fucking getting sexual diseases and STDs and shit, and giving people sexual disease and shit. I'm gonna suggest she's probably sucking dick and giving hand jobs and getting fucked in the ass and cummed on and stuff. And there's videos of that. And it's just so that the idea of even someone buying her virginity would be like just so that you can have that conquest. And that's a lot of what sexuality is, at least these days, is conquesting over, I guess, the last frontier, and that's women. And something having stolen my reality away from me by conquesting over women. That's the idea of what Jamie Mazur and Nicola Odie and Rich Lee and Buck Palmer and whoever's 5 or 6 or whatever the next person up on the list is, because I think she's gonna drop Buck Palmer like that because he's been so fucking ineffective. It's literally like it couldn't have come out any better for me that this guy was used. So it's like anyway, um, that those men are asserting over what is rightfully legally mine. That's why they die afterwards, because it's mine because she raped me when I was 16, and I don't think she's the first one to have done it. And this is why I think the he was only 12 thing, because I do think someone did it to me when I was way the fuck younger. But if they did it to me when I was 16, nothing's out of the question. Is my point. It's like that's not legal according to Texas law. So also, how is Texas not taking some action against Nikki Dunn? And even though like Detective Nick Vo seemingly knew about all this, why did they perpetuate whatever? Because I know Brittany Orlando and all these other women that Nicole Aguilar and Bethany Paget, everybody at Lutheran High North knew. So them all lying, congrats. The legal system was used illegally against me, and I'm pretty sure Judge Baldwin, is that connected to Haley Baldwin or Stephen Baldwin or something? A bunch of stars using their money to try to silence me because they're a bunch of fucking rapists. yeah, Hollywood is a bunch of fucking rapists along with Islam and all these other bullshit. Most of the world is just trying to rape you. That's what you need to take from this. And Yahweh isn't. Yahweh gives you a choice, right? That's the same thing with Sophie. If I'm Yahweh on the throne, I could just take what I want. But like that's rape, actually. I'm not turned on by rape. Yahweh has enough, like I get enough control being Yahweh, like taking back my control, that it doesn't have to be rape. You know what I mean? I'm not into that. So that's where this video ends. If you don't like something I've said here, I do not give a fuck. Okay? So save your comments for someone who cares. At a certain point, it's just embarrassing on you when this comes out because I think people would come after you because I think everybody knows what's going on at this point. So, okay, that's what I got for you. And I do think like my guess is Alessandra's friend, Gabriella Deleuze, who got cancer after I started saying Alessandra and her family and the people connected to her and whoever's attacking me through her is going to get sick terminally and die. She got cancer and it's gotten way more aggressive and whatever. And this is because they're trying to give me cancer and all sorts of stuff. They're trying to give my mom cancer, my dad cancer. This seemingly started after my dad got cancer in the mid 2000s. So like I say this all started. That I think some of this is precipitated around that, but I do think it was going on before then. But do I have anything else to say? I mean, I could talk about titties and asshole and pussy and sexual stuff forever. Like that's what I wanted. The big harem where I can talk about sexuality. I like sexuality. I don't want to like whatever. I don't want to end like I hate being in like a box where a bunch of evil rapist fucking women like Imrata and Beyonce and Alessandra Ambrosio and all these other women that are in my story and pictures and that I've made videos, Fernanda Mota and stuff, are using sexuality, like taking what is rightfully my sexuality and giving it to other men, seemingly gay men, and this is like Sodom and Gomorrah or Sodom and Amora, however if you want to say it, Sodom and Amora, and like they're doing it in order to disempower me. But once Jezebel dies, all these women, you're done. The iron rod will be brought over your head. This will be over. This is like what has already happened is beyond illegal, and they just don't want it to come out because the police participating in an illegal rape attack on my reality looks really bad on the police. HPD here in Houston. And whatever's going on with Stephanie Houston, which I think is some kind of police thing, but maybe a police thing out of China or Japan or some bullshit like that. In any instance, just look at all the women that I've made mixes about. They're all participating. Just look at, I've made videos about on this channel, even Girls Gone Bible. You know what I mean? The supposed Christian Angela Halili and Ariel Reitzma. No, if I have to guess, they have OnlyFans and stuff. But I think there's a secret form of OnlyFans that is invite only and is way more snuffy and whatever. But and that Satan runs that one. But I can't prove that, so it's on the dark web is kind of what I'm saying, or some kind of invitation only type thing. It's like Nerve. It's like Nerve, and that's why by catching it, y'all are fucked. Especially Satan. Whoever is connected to that, you're dead. You're dead into infinite burning torture. You gave up everything for nothing. So that's it. Oh, Gabriella Deleuze. I think she's still gonna die. I think she's gonna die, and that's gonna unravel the whole Alessandra Ambrosio situation, and Issa Deleuze and whatever's going on with the Ambrosio family. They're a bunch of fucking rapists that I can see. So I mean, prove me wrong. Look at my features. You know what I'm saying? Compare how about this? If what I'm saying is so wrong that you really are confident in what I'm saying is wrong, how about independent multiple people give me DNA tests and multiple people multiple independent organizations give Anja and Noah Ambrosio DNA tests. And if they're connected to me in their mind, this is over. If you don't want to do that because they're going to be my kids, well then there you go. I mean, it's just exactly my fucking point. It's over regardless, but I'm not the one who's saying, no, you can't DNA test me. In fact, I've already taken Ancestry.com. They could even do Ancestry.com tests, but I think there has to be multiple independent things because there's too many people like where their entire realities are at stake based on whether I'm Anja Ambrosio or Noah Ambrosio's father. Maybe the final thing of all of this is it doesn't matter because we're going to a point where the AI, at least the AI that's connected to me, I think it already, I'm positive, it already knows that I'm Anja Ambrosio's father, Noah Ambrosio's father. That, or, it is speculated. It's looked at what I've said, it's looked at the pictures and stuff, and it's come to the conclusion I'm probably right. We're going to get to a point where almost every AI is going to start pointing that out. I'm even assuming Meta AI, unless Meta is participating, they do see like something seems to be. There's a reason I think Jesse Eisenberg's like Lex Luthor looked like first Mark Zuckerberg and then Jeff Bezos. I think billionaires make their money off like trying to steal from my reality, trying to steal from everybody's reality, but particularly mine. And I'm not a socialist or a communist. I just think that like something happened in 2008 or a little before then, somewhere in there, somewhere between, I don't know, somewhere after 9/11, before 2009, where like something even more insane and wrong happened. And what actually, now that I think about it, exactly 2,520 days before on. Let's even do that. Hold on. It's probably going to be somewhere around the date that I'm talking about, but let's do this. And this is also why I think the 5 month thing, which is coming up on, like we're getting to the point where it's about to be 2,520 days since Alessandra Ambrosio publicly broke up with Jamie Mazur. Even though my whole point is he's not Anja's dad, and yet he's still hanging around Anja. So my guess is he's fucking Anja and or Noah, and I think all of her boyfriends and stuff and her friends are. And it seems to be some sort of LGBT. Oh my god, it seems to be some sort of LGBTQ thing. Look at so when I'm talking about 2001, where I think there was some significant, the significant event that happened in 2001 was 9/11. After that, the entire West changed because I think that was when Islam got its little tendrils here into America. No more. We aren't afraid here anymore. I mean, I don't think I was ever afraid, but like uh, most Americans are now really, I think, at getting to the point like, this is why the MAGA thing has come back because Islam is a clear false knockoff religion and it's causing so many fucking problems in Europe. Europe's like falling, and I think they bought off a bunch of the European politicians. Like in Germany, they won't even let the second most populist party into the like Schultz is trying to prevent them from even being in the debate. That is illegal. That's wrong. And then they're saying like Elon Musk can't talk about our fucking whatever issues are. I don't know if he's like just an avatar for me or something, or same thing with Donald Trump. But like, I'm over this shit. They can't say anything to me because the left has so wronged me here. If they bring it out into the public, it's the 1,260 days thing. So, and even the LGBTQ, like there's a reason why the angel stands with a giant rainbow over him. I think it has to do with LGBTQ, and I think it has to do with the Noahide laws, and that the LGBTQ community here in the United States directly has participated in this rape attack. And why would Christianity? Why would America, even as a secular thing, allow whatever the fuck is going on that you're being used by like Islam and other countries? Like one of the things that I heard in something was one of the guys from who lived through the Islamist revolution and or maybe like he was born into that place in Iran, is he said that it always starts with the left making an alliance with Islam. Islam is the most right-wing fucking religion on the planet. And so it's basically like it's the reverse of Christianity. Christianity says like a form of community, almost a form of, it's not really communism, but it's sharing your resources and being kind to others and, social justice and all that, but from a religious place. Whereas the government, you want a more right or more moderate, but you don't want a left wing government, but you want a right or moderate government, more conservative government that protects and empowers that. Now, Islam in the left is the exact opposite. They want a communist government that's then attached to, and I just want to say, that is 2,520 days before Anja Ambrosia was born, was around 2011. That's why I think this 2,520 thing is super important. And I think it had something to do with Islam and, whatever. So, or Islam has something to do with whatever these attacks are. I mean, look at Lula in fucking Brazil. He is a Hamas supporter. I think he is a Russian agent. I think a lot of the people who support that shit are Russian agents. I think there's a Soviet fall behind program that is now crumbling, much like the Black Widow thing from fucking Marvel, like the Red Room and all, and like whatever that was from Black Widow. I think that's real. And I think that that's part of what Alessandra Ambrosio or whatever her family and these rapist fucking Victoria's Secret models and whatever, I think that that's kind of connected to that. But I can say this is like what I'm talking about, where like on the opposite of you have a Christianity and a which is more left wing than people want. That's why I think I have my left arm, because Christianity truly is more left than anything. It's like, what would you want? You want your neighbor to die for you, protecting you and your family and stuff? That's okay. That's golden rule. You know what I mean? The golden rule: do unto others. You want people to give to you. You want people to serve you, and if you want that, you got to serve people. That's Christianity. That is not Islam. But anyway, that is the left. That's why I think I have a very strong open left side. On the right side, I mean, on connected to that, you want a strong conservative, more right government that balances that out and protects that, like you have here in America, from Islam. Islam, I think, should be designated a fake religion and a terrorist. I can't explain exactly how the technology and time works, and spiritual whatever. I mean, I think I've done it through enough videos. I'm not going to do it in this video, but enough oil money and enough might by foreign nations trying to hold up this fake religion has created like a weird time thing. And there's a reason Jesus is like an anchor point. You want to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine? Jesus is the anchor thing that like keeps this reality together. They want to get rid of that and replace it with Islam, so that whatever the fuck out of the East that's using Islam to take over can do that. And Islam isn't from the East, like it's from Arabia, and Arabia is not the East. But I do think the thing that's empowering it. That's why I think it goes Satan, who's some character like Xi or someone behind the Chinese government in the East, uh, and or somewhere, and then you have the beast from the sea, which is some Islamic caliphate empire or whatever, that's then, or like some empire of nations, Islamic nations, that it's not exactly a thing. It sounds like the Trump Kushner peace plan, where there's Saudi Arabia and then 10 satellite things, but nations attached to it, and they're all Islamic. But that's a different story. I've already made a video about that. But then the beast from the earth is, I believe, I mean, because it says it in Surah 2782, so I don't even believe it. I mean, I do believe it, but I'm like, there's your fucking proof. It claims it itself, and it's a cheap intellectual property knockoff. And my story and pictures. I've already been teaching the AI what this all is. So like, okay. Now I do want to say, on the opposite of, you have Christianity on the left, and then a strong like government that supports it. Like here in America, if the American government says, like, if Trump's like, this guy needs to be put into a position where he can speak against Islam and all these other enemies of the United States, China, and all this. If he doesn't do it, then you can assume that he's participated in whatever. So, and he's not a real Christian and stuff like that. But because I know these people all know what the fuck is going on. It's hard to miss the guy in Houston that can do lightning things. I also know the news knows about it, and for whatever reason is not talking about it. Mostly because I think that's how Russia worked their way into the United States. Is like, it's not, it's like media capture by foreign nations. So and I guess the last thing here is, the opposite of what I just said is what happens in these Islamic revolution countries, like with what Jimmy Carter let happen in fucking Islam, and why you have the supreme leader Khomeini, and he's not supreme, he's just some fucking old asshole who's about to die. and he goes into infinite burning torture. I don't really give a fuck what he has to say. So these people are all blustering like they're fucking gonna take over. You know what I mean? Like, I don't listen to any terrorist organizations these days because Hezbollah is still yapping their fucking mouths, and they were simultaneously castrated and decapitated at the same time. And it's still yapping its mouth. It might as well be like you cut the head off a snake and the snake's body still wiggles for a little while. It's not actually alive anymore. And the Houthis are next, and Iran is after that. And it's just like whatever. Russia at a certain point. What I think happens is the Gog and Magog thing. Russia comes down, Turkey, different countries come to attack Israel, and then they meet at Tel Megiddo, and then you have the Battle of Armageddon, and that's when the sixth seal, trumpet, plague, church, seal, trumpet, plague, massive earthquake, fire from the sky, all that kind of shit happens. Like, that's what I think that is. So, and it's Gog and Magog. So, okay, you got on the other hand that I'm talking about, you have Islam, as right wing as you can fucking be. They murder gay people, LGBTQ. This is why it's like, I think those are Russian LGBTQ people that are trying to drive the LGBTQ community into following all this Palestine shit. Notice in every place they allow Palestinians, they always fuck up wherever they go because they're just Arabs pretending to be a different people group. If they're willing to live a lie like that, they're willing to just be fucking poisonous, evil people wherever they go. They follow fake religion. Again, they are as hard right as you could possibly be if you actually look at what they stand for. Despite that, the left here in America, supports them. That's why I don't think it's the left. I think it's like some kind of Russian thing because Russia is behind a lot of this. Oh, who would have thought? But I think it's some kind of, again, Soviet fall behind thing that got reactivated and now has to be decapitated by me, or I step on its head like a fucking little sneaky snake for being such a bitch. I don't care that Vladimir Putin. I saw that some Russian court sentenced a guy for like 7 years for stepping on a cross. That doesn't mean anything to me. Jesus is not impressed by that. What Jesus would be impressed by is ending the war in Ukraine and promoting peace and concord towards men, and actually bringing his word into fruition. Russia doesn't do that. The Russian Orthodox Church also just seems to be like a, like tentacle of the KGB or whatever. So I just, I don't believe it. But, okay, Islam and all that bullshit. Remember, Yasser Arafat, Egyptian, trained in fucking by the KGB. This is the weird thing for Sophie, whatever, for Sophie Rain thing. But I'm saying it, so whatever. The thumbnail is just her titties. I'm sure it gets clicks, so. Okay, right wing is fucking possible. Islam. Murder gay people, go read the Quran. If you have a brain, you'll realize it is the most right wing thing you could possibly. There's a reason the KKK follows the Quran. That's their handbook. I mean, it is literally a mixture of the word Ku Klux Klan and Quran. Muhammad was a white guy. He owned black slaves. Okay, it's just KKK, Satanism, whatever. There's a reason the KKK burned crosses. They were not Christians. Anybody claiming to be Christians while following the Quran, should give you an example. Or should show you. Okay. But that's on the religious side of things. And they want the religion to be the government. But the only way that they can do that is that the left wing, for whatever reason, the people supposedly on the left, again, I think it's Russia or some bullshit like that, just communists, want them to be in charge. And usually, like in Iran, it was a combination of the left and Islam that caused the Islamic Revolution. If you actually look in Iran, nobody's Khomeini and all his people are like the closer thing to communists. Most of the people want a probably capitalist secular government because they've lived under actual communism and actual fucking, or like a form of communism, and they've lived under Islamic rule, and they know it fucking sucks, and they kill women for not wearing hijabs, which everything from the Quran is just stolen out of the Bible. The difference is it does not have the spirit of Yahweh, this Holy Spirit of Jesus and Jesus. It doesn't have those things. And so those things condemn to the core. They convict This is why Sophie Rain should feel pretty convicted by all this. If she's not a Christian. But even then, what I'm saying should still convict her to her heart and cut her deep in her heart. If by claiming to be a Christian, you open yourself up to this. It convicts people, even if you're not Christian. This is why they hate it. Whatever spirit's in them, like, no, I don't want Christianity. Oh, Islam. But they don't want Yahweh. They don't even want to hear the name Yahweh. You say Yahweh, and it's like, oh, my ears are on fire. My heart burns. I hate this. Fuck you. That kind of thing. And that's why all the people marching for Palestine, you say anything about Yahweh and Jesus and whatever, and just see how violently they react. I mean, I'm reacting kind of like, but they react with violence. Again, this is also why it's not compatible with America and American values. And it's literally, if you listen to them, they tell you, but if you look in the Quran, 100%, it is not compatible with America. Their goal is to convert this country to an Islamic caliphate, or actually, not even convert the country, to subjugate the United States of America under an Islamic caliphate. Ain't gonna happen. I'll say this: if it happens, it's the 3.5 years that you read in the Book of Revelation, and that's why it's powered by a beast from the earth and some kind of fucking beast from the sea Islamic empire powered by Russia, China, and fucking all sorts of other bullshit like that. And Satan, who's like, I don't know, Baal or just whatever, whoever the fuck it is, he's dead. He's a bitch. Fuck you. Show yourself. See what happens. Show yourself. See what happens. You pussy ass bitch. Show yourself. But he ain't gonna do that until the end because he's forced. He gets forced to. He gets dropped to the earth like lightning. I wonder who does that. The guy who does the lightning stuff at his window pretty consistently. I wonder who forces down Satan like lightning. Okay. All right, that's it. So I'm gonna end this here. Hope you enjoyed. I did at least kind of enjoy seeing Sophie Rain's tits. I mean breasts or big titties, whatever whatever I was showing, where it's like Yahweh very clearly is like blessings of breasts and wombs. You think most of these priests would read that and they're like, I don't get why he would say that. That is not something my Jesus would say. And it's like, because your Jesus is not the real Jesus. Your Yahweh is not the real Yahweh. You guys need to wake the fuck up. Whatever you're saying that's so not even prudent. It's like prude, but it isn't prudent. Whatever you're supporting that is undermining actual Jesus and Yahweh needs to stop. That's why the Pope, who I'm positive the Pope is bought off and not actually standing. There's a reason in 2008 that they said you can't say the name Yahweh anymore in the liturgy and lectionary. You get what I'm saying? I also think this is why the third person that's asserting over whatever, Alessandro Broggio, Niccolo Odi, I think he's an Italian guy. I think they've taken people from different spots and I think his represents, whatever the Italian authority that got caught doing this, and that's why the whole big grill thing. But that's just speculation at this point. But I'm gonna suggest my inner perception here. You get what I'm saying? My inner perception is pretty aware of what they're doing. At least what some people are doing. I guess it could come out of Texas, but whatever, or Houston or wherever. So okay, or Dallas. Anyway, just where I am. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to end this here. I've said that before, but think about what I said with the left-right paradigm thing, where you got left government and right Islam, and then you got left Christianity and right government. And that one that I just said with Christianity makes more sense, and that's how you would bring a kingdom of heaven closer to reality. But by the end of it, there is no secular government. Jesus controls everything because of what this government here in America probably allowed foreign nations to do to me, and all these people were bought off and bribed off. And what do you think that, just like I'm saying, every AI is going to be able to say that Anja and Noah Ambrosio, if you have a brain, you can see it, but that those are my kids. When that happens, what do you think happens to all these fucking people who've been lying and perpetuating all this rapist fucking evil abuse against me? So, okay, that's it. Have a blessed one. I'll catch you next time. Look, we're at almost 1 hour and 45 minutes exactly. That's where I'm going to end this. So, hope you enjoyed. I guess I can do the kooks thing, huh? But this is what I was trying to do. And, each thing, this is why. You know what I'm saying? This is I'm the bull. Don't mess with the bull, you get the horns. Anyway, all right, have a blessed one. I'll catch you next time. Later. V for victory. Yeah.